Fire and Life Safety, and the other from Unlimited Home Theater. Any discussion about the bids before we create a motion? Heather?
Yeah, I suggest we go with the higher bid because, and this is my reasoning, they guarantee if they do any damage installing, that they will look after the repairs. The other bid doesn't say that.
Okay, any other comments from members?
I didn't catch that. Good catch.
Yeah. My understanding is that Classic is also providing another service to us. Is that correct, Mr. Dakin? Classic Fire?
They're the monitoring company.
They do the monitoring. Oh.
Okay.
Monitoring what, the fire alert? Okay, thank you. Okay. Any,
But the difference is
Jeff?
difference is $4,000, something like that?
Yeah.
I'll just comment that I feel like if I read it correctly, we got more cameras with the second bid. They have 3 eyesight cameras, 9 S-sight cameras. So that's
I'm just
12.
having a look.
12 cameras, and then the other one was for 2, 4, 6, 8 cameras.
The other thing that I saw
Just a
was
second, Jeff.
Unlimited is local.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry, Unlimited is local. They're just down in Appin.
Okay.
That means something, and they're less. Could we not make sure that cover what you noticed, Heather, or just say, hey, if you do any damages, you take care of it, and that's it?
That's a good point.
It's up to the board.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm looking at it, if the other company also has the fire.
Yeah. Just,
Right.
just a comment on that. I mean, if they're also providing monitoring of these cameras and the other company, or there isn't any monitoring on it, that's worth something too, I would think, so.
Yes.
Tim? Did you want to comment?
So there's no monitoring with either company. It's local storage on a hard drive. So there's nobody actually monitoring these cameras with either option. It's just the availability to go back and look if there's an issue.
Okay.
So it's not camera monitoring, it's just if we have an issue where we can go back for up to 30 days and review the camera footage.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay. Any other discussion, Frank?
If that's the case, then if the lower bid provides the same sort of guarantee on damage, then I would recommend, I would be fine with going with the lower bid, but.
Okay, Colin?
I would be too, just because that's a third, right? A third higher. We need to watch our pennies, so.
I was just reading here, under their bid, however, it does say that Unlimited Home Theater is not responsible for any damage caused by technicians.
So that could incur cost to us back if there is any damage done. That was my concern between the 2 bids.
Okay, well, we need a motion. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion with Classic then, the higher bid, so.
Okay, someone like to second the motion? Heather? All those in favor of the motion to hire Classic Fire Protection for the installation of security cameras? All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passed. Okay, window blinds. We have in front of us 2 quotes for window blinds, one from Smart Shade Systems and the other from Southside Construction. Any questions regarding the quotes? Heather?
The one question I have is, I wasn't clear on what windows we're covering.
In which quote?
In either one. I'm not sure which windows you would ask to have blinds installed.
Okay, so the first quote we got was for all the windows, all windows excluding doors, and included the main office door. And then they also added the doors in each unit, so that's the doors going to the balconies, and then the common room.
Okay.
So, and then quote 2 was for all unit windows. And then they separated also additional funds for the doors in the units. Quote 2 has an upgrade for blackout in the bedrooms. And I don't know what OH is, I think that's probably the common room. But we'd have to clarify that.
On that, do we really need to cover the door windows to the balcony? I see that as an extra expense that I don't deem as necessary, because they don't look at each other. I just see it as an extra expense that maybe we don't need to do it at this time.
I would agree, because I think the units, the doors open up and face a patio wall. Tim?
The only spots I would be concerned about that is anything that's facing the driveway or the road, especially the road. Just because if people are gonna want their privacy from the road. I mean, the people at the back of the building, the people at the side of the building up top, they're not gonna really care about your door. But the people that are up closer to the road or on the driveway side, they want the privacy. That would be my only thing. And if you don't put it on, you're gonna have MACTAC, you're gonna have a flag.
See, I don't think you would have MACTAC. That's just me, and I think there may be a couple of units that it might bother, but I just see it as it's a big expense for us right now.
I didn't see a benefit to doing the doors in all the units. That's why I had it quoted separately.
Yeah.
And the problem will be if you put it on some, then not all, then people will be upset potentially, but that's why we had it quoted separately.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, and I understand the concern. I don't want to drive down Adelaide Road and see flags hanging, but is it possible, through you to Tim, to ask, as part of the rental agreement, can we specify in the rental agreement, you can't do this, you can't hang flags, it has to be curtains that are affixed, by rods? Can we not cover it off that way by putting it in the rental agreement?
Tim?
The rental agreement will say they're not allowed to put anything up because they're not allowed to put holes in the walls. So like under our rental agreement right now that we typically use, they're not even allowed to hang curtains.
Okay.
What about pictures?
They're supposed to use the 3M hooks.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen, but that's what the rental agreement will say.
Okay.
There's also, there's also that neighbor that he faces a lot of those doors.
He doesn't face the doors?
Just a second.
I thought he did face the doors on that one side. No? Okay.
Heather, did you want to
Yeah,
respond?
no, they don't, because the units go like, the doors go like sideways.
Yeah, they said, yeah.
And his house is here, so he can't look in their door.
Okay.
And they can't.
Thank you.
Okay. We need a motion to make a decision on the blind. Frank?
Just
Yep.
for clarification, so the first one doesn't have a total, but it would be, what, in the 19,000, 20,000 range? And the second one is about 27,000. Is that correct?
That's the way I read it, yes. Would anyone like to make a motion regarding the blinds? Colin?
I'll make one, and it'll probably get defeated. I want to make a motion that we proceed with the quote from Southside, window coverings for all units, plus the doors, plus some mini blinds for the doors. That'll be my motion, and I can explain why later.
We have a motion on the floor. Would someone like to second the motion? Frank?
Second it for discussion, so.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, no, I just thought, Southside, they know the building, so I don't know the installation of the other company, and it's not that great of discrepancy just on the blinds for the windows, but in terms of the blinds for the doors, we've invested so much money in the building. And even the chance that you could drive down the road and see, you know, especially when I hear the word MacTac, that somebody could MacTac up whatever, a sheet or whatever. It does happen. You hope that it wouldn't happen, but I understand it's an expense. But I just think for the integrity of the building, to have it, I just think the community would expect something different rather than driving down the road and seeing, you know, even the Toronto Maple Leaf flag, as much as I love the Leafs, might be a little offensive to people.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask, so you're saying you would go, you're saying that you would like to see the door covers?
Yes.
Okay, so if we saw the door covers, that's a $7,500
Yeah.
option versus $2,900 option.
Which one did you see? No, for the doors in each unit. So did I read that wrong? And I took that to be per, but is that?
Sorry, Colin? What's your
Okay,
question?
then Jeff actually pointed, I read that wrong then, Jeff.
Okay.
I apologize. So, the smart shades, okay. Yeah, that's
Did you want
3,000. I agree, you know what? I was reading it to be plus and I didn't do the math in my head, so.
Okay, did you want to amend your motion?
Yes, I'll amend my motion to go with smart shade
And the doors.
and the doors.
Frank?
I read that wrong.
I'll second the motion, but I guess, are we comparing apples to apples here, or is there a difference in what?
I was just gonna ask, I think you got the quote from Smart Shade. Have you worked with them in the past, Tim? And what's your feeling on the quality and service?
They've been fine. Like, they've done all of our buildings for the most part, so this is a simple roller.
Yeah.
The windows are very big. So typically, we would put blinds that are more like this, the faux blinds, in a lot of our buildings, which are nice because you can open and shut. But these window openings are so big, I think you're gonna get a lot of sagging and problems with them, so that's why we went to a roller style blind. I've never had a problem with them.
Okay, great.
Okay,
So we have a motion on the floor to accept the bid from Smart Shade Systems for the, I'll just read out, all units, including the doors in each unit and the common room. And that motion was moved by Colin, seconded by Frank. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passed. Number 7, Parkview Manor. We have the caretaker's report for information. Any discussion regarding the caretaker's report, questions?
Nope.
Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to accept the caretaker's report for December 2023, and that would be received for information?
Second.
Jeff, seconded by Frank. All in favor? Motion passed. Rental rates. So we have a motion in front of us that the board align the rental rates in Parkview Manor, and this is for new rentals, at 80% of market rates as per 2023. This should be, correction, 2022 CMHC local report, and that the amounts be $899 for a 1-bedroom and $1,115 for a 2-bedroom. Would someone like to move that motion to get it on the floor? Frank, seconded by Colin. All in favor? Oh, no, we're not voting, sorry. Discussion. Tim, you had a comment.
I just wondered if it'd be possible, or if it would make sense to make the motion that we set the rates at 80% of CMHC average market rent, period, so that next year we're not coming back and doing this again. So as the CMHC market rates go up, the rents automatically go up without having to come back to the board.
Okay, would anybody on the board like to amend the motion?
Yeah.
Frank?
Or I
Or-
second it, or,
Well, I think you said,
oh, that'd be up to Colin then, I guess, if you want.
did you
Yes,
make the
I'll-
original motion? No,
Frank
Frank
did,
did.
and I'm just
I'm
seconding.
good to amending.
With the amendment of the motion? Okay. Everybody in favor of the amendment?
Yep.
So we have a motion in front of us then that the board align the rental rates in Parkview Manor, this is for new rentals, at 80% of average market rate as per CMHC report. And for, I guess this would be for 2023, 2024, the amounts be $899 for a 1-bedroom and $1,115 for a 2-bedroom. All in favor? Any opposed?
Oh, I was gonna have a quick discussion, I'm sorry.
Okay,
You're not-
discussion
you're not
again,
gonna
sure.
like me today. I was just trying to quickly scan through the bylaws and the letters patent to make sure that that lines up with our letters patent and that that's the way that it reads. So I had read it and I was trying to find it again, I apologize. Let me just read. Letters patent say appropriate thereto primarily for persons of lower modest income, rentals below the median current rental market rate. So, but that, and that's 80%, I think it does. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I'm being careful.
Yeah, Tim?
One more question, with us renting those at that affordable rate, are we going to be using an income test on that building similar to Caradoc? Where it's 5 times rental income?
Good question. I wish Mr. Dakin was here. I don't know if we have that income test applied now. Does anybody know if it's applied currently? Heather?
I'm not sure if it's applied currently, but I would like to see the same policies at one place, at the other place.
Yeah.
Because we're one board, and you can't have a set of rules here and a set of rules here, and for property management purposes, they'd be
Yeah.
going, okay, which one applies this one? So I would say that whatever we decide, it needs to go for both buildings.
Okay, can we
just one-
first, just a second, Jeff? I think first we'll need to have the motion approved for the first motion, which was that we align the rental rates in Parkview Manor for 80% as per the CMHC annual report, and the report, and the amounts be $899 for 1-bedroom and $115 for a 2-bedroom. Can we pass that motion first, and then we'll make a second motion regarding the income test?
No,
Sorry, Jeff.
I think you took out, did you take out the $899? So wouldn't we have to say that $899 and that amount is for this year?
Yeah, sorry, it is for 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. Heather?
Quick question, how come we're going 80% and not 70 like the other building?
I believe the other building is 80.
I thought it was 70.
70?
You know, 70.
It's set, so, okay. The other building is set at 70% of median market rent. What they have always classified as affordable rent is 80% of average market rent. So that's up to the board, what you guys want to do. Affordable in the province of Ontario is defined at 80% of average market rent. So that's why when I was asking about rent and putting a recommendation forward, we went to 80%. But you guys as a board can go to whatever you
I can
want.
maybe help, sorry.
Which turn, Colin?
Oh,
Yes,
I'll
Colin.
get you this week.
Sorry, Colin, go ahead.
No, that's okay, and I forgot. I can maybe help answer Heather's, because there's a specific set of conditions with the new building, and that's set out by the mortgage. So originally when Parkview was built, the terms of that mortgage had rent geared income. So I think you could justify it by saying there are 2 sets of criteria, right? One is set out by the mortgage on the new one, and this one, we're not bound by any mortgage. That would be how I would justify it, by saying we're bound by a mortgage on the new build, on the current one, we're not.
I just saw Mr. Dakin. Could you confirm, do we use an income test at all on Parkview Manor? No, okay, thank you. Heather?
My only concern is, again, going back to consistency. What we do with one building, we do with the other. I just find it hard to juggle we're separating the 2 buildings too much, and they fall under one corp, so there should be one set of rules, in my mind. So I find the 80, that's why I was questioning the 80 versus the 70.
Okay, I would just make a comment on that. So I think there are 2 different projects though. One is 30 years old. One building is 30 years old. One is brand new. So I think that they have different amenities, different features, you know, I don't think we're not comparing apples to apples here when we compare the two buildings. Also, when I look at what the current rent is for most people, raising it, doing the 80%, for most people is only gonna be, well, it's not gonna raise anybody's rent, let me correct that. Nobody's rent is going up to these rates. But if I compare new people coming in at the $8.99 to what most people that are currently there are paying, that's probably about $100 or less a month difference. So it's not a huge discrepancy. So I'll just share that for feedback. Any other comments? Okay, so the motion, sorry Jen, I feel like we've gotten off track. Did we approve the motion for the motion to align the rental rates?
It wasn't carried.
It wasn't carried, okay. So we need a vote on the approval of the motion that the board align the rental rates in Parkview Manor for new rentals at 80%. Sorry, Tim, the correct wording for this report is called the
CMHC average market rent.
80% of CMHC average market rent, and that for 2024, the amounts be $8.99 for a one-bedroom and $1,115 for a two-bedroom. All in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Okay, seeing none, motion passed. Property, we'll move to number 8, property management. We have in front of us the property management report. Tim, would you like to, this is an information item. Oh, we have some motions to pass on this too. So we'll go first, that the board receive the property management report for information. Would someone like to move that?
Yeah.
Jeff, seconded by Frank, all in favor? Passed. Okay, discussion. We'll let you speak to that first, your report, Tim.
So I have some questions, and I don't know if this is the time to try to get answers. I'm hoping, because we're in front of the board. The building has priorities of domestic violence, women and children fleeing domestic violence, seniors, and veterans. So those applicants are fast tracking the list, right? So I guess my first question is that the entire building, or is that only the affordable units?
So I believe at a previous meeting, we said that the criteria would be applied to the whole building. That could be reconsidered, but that is what we did agree to in a previous meeting.
Okay. The second part of that is, am I required, like, a veteran would be easier, a senior is fairly easy, but the domestic violence and women and children fleeing it, how do I process an application of that? Like, what does the board want to see from me for due diligence?
So my initial thought on that, and the reason that I reached out to the Women's Rural Resource Center, is it would be by referral. And also because I sit on the Middlesex Homelessness Advisory Council, there are representatives there who all work in housing in the area. So I have shared the criteria with them, because even though someone might not be at the Women's Rural Resource Center, they might be attached to working with somebody at Canadian Mental Health, that they could also make a referral. So in my view, and this is open for discussion, that would be on a referral basis.
So then if I have an applicant that's applying for a two-bedroom unit that's checked that off on the application, but it didn't come in through referral, I treat it the same as if it was just a regular application.
You could ask them if they have.
Well, they checked it off.
But I don't know if they are working with a local agency that could give them a referral.
Okay. I just want to be, right, because it's really easy to check the box, but
Yeah, and we don't want to be too prying. Of course, people have the right to privacy. Heather?
The only thing I'd say is, I mean, anybody can check that box easily, and you don't know, so I think there should be a check done. I think they need to come through the referral system. And And I don't think that's a hard thing to do, but I'm just afraid people will tick off boxes that don't apply.
I think also, Tim, with the criteria, you had a question about what we consider a senior.
There's a lot of applicants that are 62, 63, 64, 59, that have all checked off as seniors, and I don't have an answer for them at this point.
Colin?
Through you to Wayne Mahar, who may know, is there a legal definition these days of what a senior is? Is there a legal definition? Is it 65 or 50? Do you know, Wayne?
Actually, not that I'm aware of. I'm thinking 60, but I'd want to check
Okay.
that for sure.
Because I do know that in Melbourne Terrace, I think it's 55, and I think the ones in Dutton are 55 too. They consider that to be a senior.
Bill, I thought we asked CMHC this question, did we not? Did we ask them about the criteria? Did we ask them specifically about what is a senior? No?
Not that I
Okay.
recall. We do use 60, I think we use 60. I'll have to confirm that, but it's on our application for the Parkview Manor.
Is 60?
I think
Okay.
it's 60. I can confirm that.
Okay, Frank?
Well, there's no mandatory retirement age, right, anymore. I think it used to be 65, so I think that was probably the number that was used. I think it's probably, like some of the stores do, maybe we have to establish our
Yeah.
criteria for what a senior is, so.
Heather?
This is just my feeling, at 65, that's when people get, if they have pensions reduced, or that's when the CPP and old age kicks in, and to me, 65 would be the number I would pick. I understand some places are 55, but that's more adult style living versus seniors. And I think for the purpose of affordable housing, I would like to see 65 as the cut, because of all those benefits that they either lose or they're now taking on, okay? That's just me.
Okay, thank you. Jeff?
Well, we've been working this all day about let's keep them both the same, Parkview Manor and everything else. And if we have something established at Parkview Manor, I think we need to start there. What's that number? So we need some confirmation of that first. If it's 65, we're aligned. If it's 60, maybe we should talk about it.
I believe,
We'll have to change both.
Director Dakin has confirmed that Parkview Manor is 60.
I'm gonna go do that right now.
Thank you. Heather, did you have something else you wanted to add?
No, you can, as a board, decide it's 60. I still will vote that it should be 65. That's just no.
So then we change both.
I would like to see both changed, yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
what you're.
no, I would.
Okay, just a moment here, Tim.
There are applicants that are drawing CPP benefits that are between 60 and 65, just as a note, because you can draw them as soon as 60 from the applications, so I'm just.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think we'll just put this on pause for a second while we get some information from Director Dakin. Frank?
Just kind of a related question, but I mean, the priority is those three groups that we have, but how long do we have to, if we don't get applications from those groups, how long do we have to wait? Or do we have a policy on, if we don't want to have units sitting empty too, because
No.
we're not getting applications from those groups, so what's the philosophy on that, or is there a philosophy on that at this point, or do we need to establish that? I mean, it's probably not an issue once the building is full, because then there'll be the normal cycle, and you can take applications from people that fit into those categories. You're not gonna be filling units as regularly, but in the initial fill up, I do think it's important that we get the cash flow established, so.
I'm going to recommend we table that for the next meeting for discussion. Colin?
Just because I was thinking the same thing as Frank about how long do you wait, and you read the mortgage. It's silent on a time, like so it says that should be your first priority, but I don't think there's an actual time frame on it. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, Tim?
So on the affordable units, there's tons of applicants. So it's
Okay.
going to make we're gonna fill the affordable units very quickly.
Okay.
So it's gonna make a difference on that, whether or not it's 60 or 65 based on the list. For the market units, the priority is gonna be given to those groups. But for instance, on the 2 bedrooms at this point, I only have 2 applications that are reviewed and are good enough to be presented. And I don't know that they've both even been through the unit, but there's only 2. So it's not gonna matter because there's not gonna be a priority
Okay.
on the market units. It's gonna be whoever applies is gonna, as long as they qualify to move in, it's gonna be fine.
Frank?
Yeah, I was just concerned that we're holding units, you know, waiting for people to apply that aren't going to apply.
Not on the affordable units.
Okay. Anything further on your report, Tim, that you wanted to?
Key boxes, I wanted to prove, yeah, I guess that if I get the spending amount, I wanted to put like a road sign up. I wanted to talk about social media advertising, whether that's something the board I'm allowed to do, or how you see advertising this, because the market units aren't filling up. There aren't applications coming in for them, so we need to do something to promote that. The affordable units are gonna be no problem, but the other units are, and then grass and snow, snow specifically.
We have that addressed later in the
Okay,
agenda.
okay, perfect.
Okay, so if we could go back then to Facebook Marketplace. We have been promoting, I believe, the application process through the municipal Facebook page. But I guess as a property management company, if you wanted to, I don't have any objection if you wanted to place an ad on Facebook Marketplace or Strathroy Rental as coming from your property management company. Does anyone else have any concerns about that? Okay. All right, and I think the other items will be addressed through the following motion. Okay, so all in favor of receiving the caretaker's report, not caretaker, property management's report for information. All in favor? Any objections? Okay. We have another motion that the board authorize a pending limit of, that should be a spending limit, of $500 monthly for the property manager. Would someone like to put that motion on the floor? Frank, seconded. Jeff? Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Motion passed. And then the third part of this motion, or the third motion, is that the board authorize the property manager to enter into lease agreement on behalf of Caradoc Housing Corporation with suitable applicants who have met the criteria as set out by the corporation at the rental rates set out by the corporation. Would someone like to move that motion to the floor? Frank, seconded by Jeff.
Yep.
Discussion. Colin.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. Actually, in the original bylaws, it does set out that all rentals should go to the board for approval.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay for it if you want to make an amendment that the board authorize a property manager into a lease agreement for the startup of Adelaide because of the new build of Caradoc Place, because we need to get it up and running. But I just think for the future to live out the mandate and the wishes of the original board, that there should be wording in there, moving forward after it's rented, that it should come to the board, because it'll just be 1 or 2 turnover a year. I'm okay with the startup, because we need to get it started up, but reading the original bylaws, and I would like to see, once it's filled, continue with the spirit of what they were trying to do originally. So that's just my comment.
Thank you. Heather?
I have to disagree with you, which I often do. I believe, if I read the bylaws and everything correctly, we're supposed to follow those bylaws. And the bylaws say the board approves, not the property manager approves. And in this case, I would like to stick to that because I'd also like to know how the decision is made for who gets and who doesn't get a place, okay? I understand the startup, but I think as a group here, we could quickly go through a list. And I just want to know in my own mind that everything's been done fairly, and I'm not questioning Tim, but as a board and being perceived by the public, I really want to know how the people are picked.
Thank you. I'll just add my comments. I think that we've set out how they're to be picked with the criteria. I think we've been very clear about that. And so in my opinion, I would give faith to the property manager, because if we have a meeting, he's going to present the people, and are we going to go through those applications in detail? Because if we're not, then the meeting really doesn't have any purpose, in my view. Mr. Mahar, would you like, since we have the benefit of having you here today, comment on the comments about the bylaw section that
Sure.
both Colin and Heather have referred to, please?
Sure, well, typically in bylaws, like including the old ones, there's the ability for the board to hire someone, if they'd like to hire someone, to represent them in doing that task. And so if the board so chose, that's what they would be doing with the property manager. In a lot of ways, that's why you have a property manager, to have that done. But the board would just require, you know, a report back from time to time, an aggregate report from the property manager on that. And then, you know, to the point you just mentioned, then the board isn't going through each one in detail on the spot, right? That's being done by the property manager who you've hired.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Heather?
One more comment. This project from beginning to end has been very controversial to the public. I want, and we've all been told there's a list of people that wanted places, but the list, none of the board saw that list. And I am very strong on this, that I want to know that this is done properly, because this is very testy to a lot of people. And they're going to ask the question, well, how come she got it or he got it and I didn't? So that's why I just think as a board, because we're the people that are going to get those questions.
Tim?
So the way we've been doing our rent up is contacting everybody on the list, getting their applications in, asking for applications. Everybody has been emailed from the municipality. We emailed and called everybody else on the list. So every applicant has a number, a priority number, based on the list. Then they're categorized onto where they fit based on income and other tests. So if you're number 2 on the list and you don't qualify for an affordable unit, then you're categorized into a market unit. So you have the first priority on a market unit because you didn't meet the affordable. So it's all going based on the list, assuming that you qualify for what you're looking for. The list is full of people wanting affordable units, and there isn't affordable units. And some people that are on there that want affordable units don't qualify. So there's going to be some upset people because they think that they can get an affordable unit and make $75,000 a year. They're not happy. But that's how we're doing it, and that's exactly to the T how we're doing it.
And I'm not
Sorry,
questioning
Heather,
how,
can you just,
sorry.
okay, go ahead. We just want to.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning that part, but what I'm concerned about is, let's say you have 10 people that are equal. How do you determine who gets that spot?
Based off the list that was provided from the municipality. So whoever's on the top, whoever's higher in a lower in a number, so 2, 5, 10, 22, goes ahead of whoever's 43, 58, 69.
So if someone came in, say 2 months ago with their application,
They'll be on the bottom.
they'd be on the bottom, okay?
Versus somebody that called 2 years ago that's on the top. And we didn't create the list, the municipality created the list.
Yeah, I know, but this is the list that we were never afforded to see. This
Well, I
is the
think that Heather,
contentious issue.
okay, if you wanted to see Heather, we could.
Yeah, I would like to see the list, honestly, just so I can say to people, there was a list, because I'm getting quite, there's no list. So I'd like to be able to say, no, yes, there was a list and this is how it was followed.
Okay, we can get that for you, Heather, thank you.
Thank
Colin?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Heather, because to me, it's important to carry the spirit of the original 40 years ago from the board of directors. So I just have one question through you to Tim. Have you approved anyone yet to move in, or you just have the?
No, I can't approve them because right now, my direction was that the board had to.
Okay, so how onerous would it be then, just at a meeting, just to go through, you know, how many numbers it is, 20, and say, these are the people, and we may have one or two questions? Because I do agree, we've all had calls from people who are wondering how they get on or get off the list, and I think for the 1 hour of our time that it may take, just to look at it and say, yes, we looked at it. Again, I'm just hearkening back to the original spirit of Caradoc Housing.
I have no problem with that. I would prefer it. Because, and I'm not saying, no, sorry, you can't have the unit, you guys are. So from my side, I love it, because I can tell somebody, it's not up to me, it's up to the board.
Right.
You know, so I'm all for it. The issue I see, and the only issue, is that you guys need to be prepared to have lots of board meetings. Because if I have somebody that's ready to move into the building, I need a board meeting. I can't wait till February 28th, or whatever the date the next board meeting is.
Yeah, that was my concern, was in the, part of my concern is that by having it have to happen at a board meeting, we have to give notice. So that's 7 days notice. Then we have to assemble a majority. Then we have to go through those applications. And like I said earlier, if we're just rubber stamping what Tim's done the homework anyway, then personally, I think that that's a lot of meeting times, and they would have to be very frequent. We need this building filled ASAP, so we can't do this monthly. It would have to be a lot more. So I just would like everybody to take that into consideration. Jeff, you go ahead.
Sorry, what?
Jeff hasn't, I'll give Jeff a chance to speak, please, Heather.
So I like the idea of initially looking at a number of people. It doesn't have to be them all, but the first sort of income or incoming people, just so that we can understand it and so that we can bounce thoughts back and forth. After that, I don't want anything to do with it. It's the weeds. I don't see that.
I have a
Okay,
solution.
Heather, you need to raise your hand, and then I'll call on you, please. Thank you. Yeah, but I have to let people finish. Go ahead, Heather.
Why not just put one person from the board to sit with Tim to fully understand how it works and how it's doing? If there's an issue and you want to get it done fast, I'm sure one person could sit with Tim, understand the system, and say, go for it. And then the board is involved, and things are getting done quickly.
I think Mr. Mahar would like to comment on that.
Well, there's no authority for one board member to bind the board. So it's an item really where the board is either happy to delegate that administrative function to the property manager, right? Or the board wishes to decide, you know, on the item. So in terms of, you know, the board getting confirmation that the policies are followed, that's easily done. The board can get that back from the property manager. And with respect to the spirit of the original bylaws, that is for the board to make decisions. But at that time, there's also agency powers in there that were unused. So the board, for example, a long time ago could have used its agency powers to hire a property manager. It just didn't, right? And so the climate is right now that they have a property manager. So, you know, I think the best way to ensure that policy is followed is just if the board wants to report back that it in fact has been followed, just get that report back in a timely manner.
Thank you. Frank, I think you had your hand up?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be involved in deciding who lives in the place, and I don't know, is the subcommittee a possibility? You know, 3 members, and the board gives them the authority to make those decisions, or?
I believe we would have the power to strike a subcommittee and give it that power. Tim?
What if we give a report on every tenant that we've approved and why? I mean, we approve this tenant because they're number 5 on the list and they meet these criteria. We approve this tenant next because they're number 7 on the list and they met this criteria.
Except that that would be after the fact. So if, again, well, you know, it's nice, but at that point, you've probably entered a lease agreement with someone, so it's not very helpful. Colin?
And I do apologize, Chair, but I'm gonna, actually through you, ask to Deputy Clerk Pereira. I actually believe in the Municipal Act, you can do an informal poll, correct? If I read right in the Municipal Act, there's a possibility to do an informal poll of members of council or of a board. It doesn't bind it, but it's at least, excuse me, an informal poll to get the feeling. It's somewhere in the Municipal Act that you can do that. I will
Colin,
find.
you've stumped the lawyers, so.
I know.
Like,
And the clerk, okay. So we do have a motion in front of us, so I think it's time that we vote on it. We've had lots of discussion. So the motion in front of us is that the board authorizes the property manager to enter into a lease agreement on behalf of Caradoc Housing Corporation with suitable applicants who have met the criteria as set out by the corporation at the rental rates set out by the corporation. All in favor, please raise your hands.
Can I have a recorded vote on this?
Pardon?
Can I have a recorded vote on this?
Sure. Never mind.
No,
No?
there's a mover and a seconder already. You have to request it before the vote is taken.
That's not fair.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion is defeated. Next motion. Next motion on the table is the board of, sorry, Frank?
So the motion's defeated, so what's the process now?
Yeah,
Make
that's
another
the question.
motion.
Well,
Please make a
I'm not making a motion, but I think we have to have a process, so.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion on how we'd like to move forward with the application process?
I would,
Jeff?
I would agree with that last motion, but I would just say, but initially, there'll be a get-together so that we all have answers, and so that we're on the same wavelength as the property manager.
I'm sorry, I'm not clear as to what your motion is.
That's right. I would go with that same motion.
Could you read it back and then insert the part you want?
Uh,
Because we're to start a whole new motion, right, Jen? So that third part, if you want to start there and just insert your
So
comments.
this is it, the board authorizes the property
Correct.
manager to enter into a lease agreement on behalf of the Caradoc Housing Corporation with suitable applicants who have met the criteria set out by the corporation at the rental rates set by the corporation after an initial review of the first group of tenants.
Okay, thank you. Would someone like to second the motion? Colin, any discussion? Jeff, could you explain a little bit? I'm not exactly clear. Are you proposing that there be a board that the property manager have an initial, come to us with some initial names initially? Is that what you're suggesting? Sorry.
Yes, I think that's what all I'm saying is it would be good to sit down after that first initial group of people that Tim approves and go through it and talk about it, or maybe before you approve, and just talk about all the, what he was deciding, what he was, just why they were picked, et cetera, because that would give us some responses to the general public, and it would also make sure we were on the same wavelength.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Any other questions or discussion about the motion on the floor? Okay, seeing none, then all in favor of the motion, and I'll just reread that. The board authorized the property manager to enter into a lease agreement on behalf of Caradoc Housing Corporation with suitable applicants who have met the criteria as set out by the corporation at the rental rate set by the corporation after an initial meeting and review with the board. Is that what you said?
Of the first
Of the
first group of
Of the
applicants
first group of applicants.
with the board.
All in favor?
I like that.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Okay, seeing none, motion passed. Tim?
Can we book another board meeting then before February 28th?
Yeah, we'll take that to the further down the agenda, thank you. We have another resolution in front of us that the board approved the purchase of a key box unit, mail key storage, and a lockbox for service contractors at the cost of $241.38. Would someone move that motion? Frank, seconded. Heather? Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passed. Other business, municipality supports. Colin, this is just for information.
Yep. Chair and I met with Director Dakin and CAO of the municipality. They've agreed to help us in the short term with snow plowing. We had to get the new building up and running. There was some urgency. If I remember correctly, they are going to come back to us with a report on possibility of bookkeeping help. Whether that's a short-term solution or a long-term solution, we needed to start somewhere, so we did meet with them, and I think that report's forthcoming.
Okay. Frank?
I just want to comment on that. Going back to the treasurer's role, I mean, I am the board treasurer, but I'm not going to be the accountant for this organization.
Well, according to the new bylaws, he is.
Yeah, and so, you know, whether we get the accounting support from the municipality or we have to go outside and hire a third-party bookkeeper, that's what we're gonna have to do. But, you know, my preference is that the municipality, since the municipality owns the building, would continue to provide those services, so.
Yeah.
So, as Colin mentioned, we're getting a quote on the price of that service for bookkeeping, snow plow removal, and lawn care removal from the municipality.
Yeah.
But I think also it will behoove us to get some other quotes too, and I can speak with Tim about some local contractors we could get a few quotes to compare and bring them back at a further meeting. All right, next we move to in-camera. We have a motion that the board move into a closed session for the purpose of discussing the following. One item in accordance with council's procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meetings, and one item pursuant to section 2392F of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, regarding advice that it is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Can I have someone to move that motion? Frank, seconder? Jeff, all in favor? Thank you. It'll just be a moment while we move into closed session.
Just before you go in, so this is the current, two of which I don't think are legal anymore, but this is what they originally set out. You must be 60 years of age or older. In case of couples, one spouse must be 60 years of age or older. You must be a permanent legal resident of Canada. I'm not sure you can enforce that, but anyways. And then the other is you must reside in Ontario continuously for the previous 12 months. So as far as the age goes, it's 60.
Thank you. Okay, we're back in open session, and we have a motion that the board had moved into closed session for the purpose of discussing one item in accordance with council procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meetings, and one item pursuant to section 2392F of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Can I get a motion that the direction in closed session be approved? Frank, seconded by Jeff, all in favor? Okay. There was one item left to follow up with. For Tim, we did get confirmation from Director Dakin that 60 years of age was what we use at Parkview, so I think everybody was in agreement that we keep that consistent.
We need a
Do we
motion,
need a
like
motion
to,
for that?
like, cause we're at 60 or 65, so.
Okay, so want to put the motion on the floor, Frank?
Since I'm gonna be 65, 60 is fine, so.
Okay, so we have a motion that this age for a senior in both Parkview and Caradoc Place be 60 years of age, seconded by Jeff. All in favor? Any opposed? One. Motion passed. Schedule of meetings. We originally had a meeting scheduled for February 28th, but in light of the motion that we'll be reviewing applicants, at least initially, Tim, when would you like to see that happen? What would be the most efficient way?
So I would like to see it next Wednesday, the 24th.
I can't do Wednesday.
Are you here, Counselor?
I am not available next week, but you could have a
I'm
meeting
not
without me.
available either.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we can meet-
Oh, no, let me correct. I could be available in the evening. I could be available in the evening next week.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity for timing, because it's just gonna be to review applications, do they have to be, like, is that a closed session?
Yes.
And it's still 5 days notice to the public, even if you're going in camera.
Right, but I don't have to have reports to you 5 days ahead of time?
For the board's benefit, it would.
For the board's benefit, yes, because it gives them time to review it.
I'm away the 25th until the 1st, minimum, on vacation, so
So if we
I
have
don't
a-
really wanna have Levi come for the very first
We
time,
do
so that's,
another day, Monday or Tuesday.
Colin and I are in Toronto. Well, we could do Tuesday. No.
Could we do it
Wednesday,
by-
Wednesday.
could we do it by Zoom?
evening. Yeah,
Zoom,
We can
I
zoom.
can't do Wednesday all day.
at all. Okay. So,
Wednesday would be my preferable time, because now that I have the new criteria, we can go back and actually hopefully get you some,
what about Thursday, Tim? Are you available?
He's
Thursday?
away.
I'm in flight Thursday.
Okay.
And I don't wanna try to do stuff while I'm away again, cause that did not work well.
Tuesday, I could do it by Zoom.
We can zoom in.
Colin and I are at Roma, but we could Zoom
We can
in.
zoom in. At
Um,
night, right?
Well, I'll be on a train at night, but yeah,
Okay.
it should work. They got internet on the train. What time on Tuesday? Let's
Just
just
pick a time,
propose
let's
the
get this
time.
done.
Tim, on Tuesday.
Wednesday was an absolute no.
Heather's not available Wednesday at all.
Well, I don't have to be there.
Yeah, but if you're available.
Yeah, but you wanted it. You wanted
Yeah.
it.
Tuesday, preferably in the morning.
Just that's not, yeah, I pushed as late as I could to try to get the most applicants
Okay,
through.
so Tuesday evening?
Yeah, that would be,
Okay. I'll do it on a train, yeah.
that would be me. Just,
What time?
sorry.
And this is just, that's all we're gonna do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tuesday evening, yeah, I'm open Tuesday.
Shall we do 6:30 or 7 o'clock?
Doesn't matter to me.
6:30 is good.
6:30? Okay. Tuesday at 6:30.
And that, will that be back here or virtually?
We do the whole thing virtually? Jennifer?
So I will have to be here in order to stream it.
Okay.
I'll come in.
So whoever wants to come here.
So
I'll come here.
regardless, yeah.
I can't stream it.
So Tuesday, January
23rd at 7.
26th at 7?
Oh, sorry, 6:30?
6:30.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Okay.
And then we also will keep the meeting on the 28th and March 20th as our regular meeting, but we can add more in there as
We'll
needed.
probably need more.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, so this will just be a special
This
meeting.
is a special meeting, thank you. Okay,
I'll be gone
We're not-
from-
we're not-
gone from the 19th to the February to the 12th or 13th of March, so.
we'll just make sure we have quorum.
So just to make sure, we don't need to review all of them, just the first influx, right?
I guess, yeah, that was the motion that was passed, so this will be the review process of the first applicant.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 1:31? Colin, seconded by Frank, all in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time and lengthy meeting.
Are we off there? You think we have trouble?
I'm still on.